Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. On behalf of His Majesty the Sultan, His Highness Sayyid Fahd bin Mahmoud Al Saeed leads the Sultanate of Oman's delegation to the 44th Summit of GCC leaders in Doha. The conclusion statement of the GCC summit expresses great appreciation for the achievements made to reach integration among GCC countries. And GCC institutions of higher education, quality and academic accreditation review in Muscat the GCC strategic plan for higher education quality. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq sent a cable of greetings to His Excellency Sauli Niinisto, President of the Republic of Finland, on the occasion of his country's Independence Day anniversary. On behalf of His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq, His Highness Sayyid Fahd bin Mahmoud Al Saeed, Deputy Prime Minister for the Council of Ministers, led the Sultanate of Oman's delegation to the 44th Summit of Leaders of the Gulf Cooperation Council countries, which concluded its work today in Doha. The final statement of the summit expressed its utmost thanks and appreciation to His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq for the dedicated and commendable efforts during the Sultanate of Oman's presidency of the 43rd Summit of the Gulf Cooperation Council GCC leaders, acknowledging significant accomplishments. The closing statement indicated leaders' satisfaction with the achieved steps towards achieving integration among the Council's member states, emphasizing the adoption of fundamental pillars related to energy transition, energy security, economic development and climate change through sustained investments in hydrocarbon resources. Furthermore, the final statement expressed a hope for de-escalation in Gaza, urging an end to the targeting and forced displacements of civilians, aiming for a complete cessation of the war on Gaza, lifting the blockage and alleviating the suffering of the Palestinian people. His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, the Emir of the State of Qatar and the President of the 44th session of the Supreme Council of the Gulf Cooperation Council countries, expressed his deep gratitude in his opening speech to His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq for the appreciated efforts in exerting during his presidency of the 43rd session of the Supreme Council and his keenness to strengthen the unity of the GCC and its achievements. His Highness stated that the rapid international and regional changes necessitates consultation, coordination, and avoiding their repercussion, especially amid the ongoing unprecedented tragedy and humanitarian catastrophe in the Gaza Strip. He expressed confidence that the GCC countries can reach cooperation or understanding to address some regional issues. His Highness added that this summit takes place while the severe tragedy and the unprecedented humanitarian catastrophe resulted from the aggression that Palestinian brothers are subjected to, especially people in the Gaza Strip. All religious, ethical and humanitarian values have been violated in occupied Palestine through crimes and occupation forces are committing against humanity. It is unfortunate that despite how big the crime exposed in and the protest that happened all over the world, there are still some official players that feel that the ceasefire is too much for the Palestinian people. His Highness also said that the conflict in Palestine is not a religious one or about terrorism and a war against it. It is a national case in the essence of it, a case of conflict between Israeli occupation and the Palestinian people. It is a matter of a settler occupation that rejects to integrate into a region by reaching a middle solution, a relatively fair solution with the indigenous people. His Highness the Deputy Prime Minister for the Council of Ministers arrived in Qatari capital Doha today to lead the Sultanate of Oman's delegation to the 44th Summit of Leaders of the Gulf Cooperation Council countries. His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, Emir of the State of Qatar, led the welcoming party for His Highness upon his arrival at Hamad International Airport. His Highness was also received by His Excellency Jassim Mohammed Al Badawi, Secretary General of the GCC countries, His Excellency Sayyid Amr bin Abdullah Al Busaidi, Ambassador of the Sultanate of Oman, accredited to the State of Qatar, His Excellency Sheikh Mubarak bin Fahad Al Thani, Ambassador of the State of Qatar to the Sultanate of Oman, and a number of officials in the State of Qatar, as well as members of the Sultanate of Oman's embassy to the State of Qatar. Upon his arrival, His Highness Sayyid Fahad made a press statement in the State of Qatar, which reads as follows. On the occasion of the 44th Summit of the Leaders of the Gulf Cooperation Council countries being held in the sisterly State of Qatar, I would like to convey the greetings of His Majesty the Sultan to the Gulf leaders, coupled with the good wishes of the State of Qatar's leadership and people, and to the conference for success in achieving the desired goals. The Sultanate of Oman, as the President of the current session of the Cooperation Council, expresses its great appreciation for the Council's achievements in various fields. Thanks to the directives of the Gulf leaders and the cooperation of the members of states, which had the greatest impact in enhancing cooperation and integration among the Gulf people who are united by a common history and a common destiny. The regional arena has recently witnessed many rapid developments that have cast a shadow over many countries, requiring more efforts to coordinate positions and unify visions in facing all challenges, ensuring that the people of the region continue their journey in an atmosphere of calm and stability. The Sultanate of Oman reaffirms its continued support for the path of the Gulf Cooperation Council. It also expresses its deep appreciation to the State of Qatar for the generous deeds to establish security and peace, and prays to Allah the Almighty to bless the Qatari people and all the people of the GCC countries with continued progress and development. His Highness is accompanied by an official delegation comprising of His Excellency Sayyid Badr bin Hamad Al Busaidi, Foreign Minister, His Excellency Dr. Abdullah bin Mohammed Al Saidi, Minister of Justice and Legal Affairs, His Excellency Qais bin Mohammed Al Yusuf, Minister of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion, His Excellency Sayyid Amr bin Abdullah Al Busaidi, Ambassador of the Sultanate of Oman to the State of Qatar, and His Excellency Abdullah bin Khalfan Al Balushi, Head of the Private Office of the Deputy Prime Minister for the Council of Ministers. His Highness Sayyid Fahad bin Mahmoud Al Saeed, Deputy Prime Minister for the Council of Ministers, returned homeland this evening after leading the delegation of the Sultanate of Oman at the 44th Summit of the Gulf Cooperation Council GCC leaders held in the state of Qatari capital Doha and concluded earlier today. Upon his arrival, His Highness was welcomed by His Excellency Sheikh Al-Fadl bin Mohammed Al-Harthi, the Secretary General of the Council of Ministers, His Excellency Dr. Abdullah bin Nasser Al-Harasi, the Minister of Information, Her Excellency Dr. Rahma bint Ibrahim Al-Mahrouki, the Minister of Higher Education, Research and Innovation, and His Excellency Dr. Hilal bin Ali Al Sabti, the Minister of Health. After the conclusion of the summit, His Highness Sayyid Fahad bin Mahmoud Al Saeed, Deputy Prime Minister for the Council of Ministers, conveyed gratitude to the leadership in Qatar through cables expressing his thanks and appreciation for the warm reception and hospitality extended to him and the accompanying delegation. His Highness was accompanied during the summit by an official delegation including His Excellency Sayyid Badr bin Hamid Al Busaidi, the Foreign Minister, His Excellency Dr. Abdullah bin Mohammed Al Saidi, the Minister of Justice and Legal Affairs, His Excellency Qais bin Mohammed Al Yusuf, the Minister of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion, His Excellency Sayyid Amar bin Abdullah Al Busaidi, the accredited ambassador to the Sultanate of Oman to the State of Qatar, and His Excellency Abdullah bin Khalfan Al Balushi, the head of the Deputy Prime Minister's Office for the Council of Ministers. Earlier, His Highness Sayyid Fahad bin Mahmoud Al Saeed, Deputy Prime Minister for the Council of Ministers, left the country this morning, heading to the State of Qatar to lead the delegation of the Sultanate of Oman at the 44th Summit of Leaders of the Gulf Cooperation Council countries. His Highness was seen off by His Excellency Sheikh Al-Fadl bin Mohammed Al-Harthi, Secretary General of the Council of Ministers, His Excellency Dr. Abdullah bin Nasser Al-Harasi, Minister of Information, His Excellency Dr. Saud bin Hamoud Al-Habsi, Minister of Agriculture, Wealth, Fisheries and Water Resources, Her Excellency Dr. Rahma bint Ibrahim Al-Mahrouqi, Minister of Higher Education and Research and Innovation, and His Excellency Dr. Hilal bin Ali Al Sabti, Minister of Health. His Highness is accompanied by an official delegation that includes a number of Their Excellencies, ministers and government officials. His Excellency General Sultan bin Mohammed Al Nu'mani, Minister of the Royal Office, received His Excellency Amit Narang, Ambassador of the Republic of India, accredited to the Sultanate of Oman. At the beginning of the meeting, His Excellency the Minister of the Royal Office welcomed the guest, who expressed his thanks and appreciation to the Sultanate of Oman for enhancing means of cooperation to achieve a common interest between the Sultanate of Oman and the Republic of India. During the meeting, cordial conversations were exchanged and a number of matters of common interest were discussed. His Excellency General Sultan bin Mohammed Al Nu'mani, Minister of the Royal Office, also received today His Excellency Gota Yamamoto, Ambassador of Japan, accredited to the Sultanate of Oman. At the beginning of the meeting, His Excellency the Minister welcomed the guest, who expressed his thanks and appreciation for the positions of the Sultanate of Oman towards many regional and international issues. During the meeting, a number of mutual issues were discussed and the bilateral relations binding the two countries were reviewed. Shura Council Office discussed ministerial statements proposed to be presented during the first annual convening of the 10th term. During the meeting, the office approved work plans for the permanent committees at the Council. The meeting discussed a social housing program and recommended the necessity of restudying eligibility requirements of the program and increase money allocated for the beneficiaries. The meeting was chaired by His Excellency Khalid bin Hilal Al-Ma'wali, Chairman of the Shura Council. His Excellency Dr. Ali bin Masood Al Sunaidi, Chairman of the Public Authority for Special Economic Zones and Free Zones, received His Excellency Dr. Asim Al Jazar, Minister of Housing, Utilities and Urban Communities of the Arab Republic of Egypt, as part of the Egyptian delegation visit to the Sultanate of Oman. During the meeting, ways of joint cooperation were discussed and the Oman platform was reviewed, which provides integrated geographic maps allowing investors to obtain all plans for special economic zones, free zones and industrial cities supervised by the authority. With the aim of exchanging experiences between the Sultanate of Oman and Arab Republic of Egypt in the field of housing and urban planning, His Excellency Sayyid Saud bin Hilal Al Busaidi, Governor of Muscat, received His Excellency Dr. Asim Al Ghazar, Minister of Housing, Utilities and Urban Communities in the Arab Republic of Egypt. During the meeting, the two sides discussed the existing relations between the two sides and reviewed urban projects. The guests reviewed the Egyptian experience in building the future cities and modern projects. A symposium on economic development was held in the Wilaya of Sinau in North Al-Sharqiya Governorate. The symposium recommended the creation of a future vision on the improvement of Sinau Souk based on a modern and sustainable approach. The event also reviewed implementing a plan regarding the economic utilization of the historic sites in the Wilaya. The symposium was held under the patronage of His Excellency Dr. Saeed bin Mohammed Al Sakri, Minister of Economy. The Sultanate of Oman chaired the first meeting of officials of institutions for ensuring the quality of higher education and academic accreditation in the Gulf Cooperation Council countries. The meeting reviewed in Muscat the strategic plans of Gulf Network for Quality Assurance in Higher Education 2021-2025 and the proposal to establish a joint database for foreign academic reviewers. The meeting discussed a number of topics, including exchanging expertise and consultations among GCC institutions for ensuring the quality of higher education and academic accreditation. Still to come in our news bulletin. Results of Fahia archaeological excavation discoveries in Samai are announced. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman Television. Major General Hamid bin Ahmed Sakroon, chairman of the Academy for Strategic and Defense Studies, received at his office in Beit al-Falaj camp a delegation from the Institute of Defense Research and Analysis of the Republic of Italy, led by Brigadier General Guattiero Locano, director of the Institute for Defense Research and Analysis, who is currently visiting the Sultanate of Oman. The two sides exchanged views on several academic and training topics of mutual interest. The Ministry of Health organized a workshop on risk management in the healthcare sector in the Sultanate of Oman. The workshop aimed to introduce participants to the mechanisms and methods for identifying and evaluating risks, familiarize them with some experiences in risk management, harness these experiences, review risk cards, reassess them, and emphasize the importance of risk management in the fast-paced world. The session discussed events-based monitoring risk management, methodology in the healthcare sector, and the institutional risk management for the Ministry of Education. A festival organized to celebrate the abilities and achievements of individuals with disabilities concluded its activities. More details in the following report.
The annual Festival of Persons with Disabilities in Oman, held on the occasion of the World Disability Day, concluded its activities in Muscat. The event is observed worldwide on 3rd of December annually. The festival is dedicated to recognizing and celebrating the remarkable abilities and achievements of individuals with disabilities, breaking down societal barriers and promoting a more equitable society. Here at Muscat Grand Mall, one of the centers that displayed various activities, a collection of art is shown here, while colleagues coming from various parts of Oman are seen chatting using sign language, giving their feedback. And here again is this talented young man who is blind, displaying his skills in making wood pens in an artistic way by using special tools for engraving a pine wood to produce a pen. This is what he had to say.
I'm happy to make this beautiful pen for you to make good stories.
We are in the 4th annual Festival of Persons with Disabilities, and we are here from the Ministry of Health to provide the medical support for all the events. This beautiful art presented here is a work done by persons with disabilities, and everyone is very impressed with such high quality of work. And it's worth mentioning here that the arts and the culture events are added for the first time to this festival.
Indeed, it is an opportunity for people with disabilities to exhibit the products of their capabilities, including handicrafts.
Volunteering is an important part of our life, and we celebrate World Disability Day. I decide to volunteer my time for people with disability, providing all support needed.
As the world is celebrating People with Disability Day, so we came here with my family and support people with disability.
The 4th Annual Festival for Persons with Disabilities is a national initiative organized by the Minister of Culture, Sports and Youth in cooperation with other governmental institutions, all of whom are working towards achieving the 2040 visions of Oman in the presence of a conscious, cohesive and socially and economically empowered society. Abdullah bin Ahmed al-Rubi'i, Sultanate of Oman Television, Muscat.
The Ministry of Heritage and Tourism, represented by the Heritage and Tourism Administration in the Governorate of Al-Dakhliya, announced the results of the Fahia ecological excavation discoveries in the Wilaya of Samail. More details in the following report.
The archaeological site in Al-Fayha village in the Wilaya of Samail in Al-Dakhliya Governorate is considered one of the rare archaeological sites in the Sultanate of Oman. After salvage archaeological excavations carried out at this site, the Ministry of Heritage and Tourism announced the results of the discoveries.
Al-Fayha, from the first millennium BC, our team discovered a lot of things, the artifacts in Al-Fayha, such as the pottery. The pottery is different thing and different time from this site. Some of them is returned from the, as I said, from the first millennium BC. Ministry of Heritage and Tourism try to protect all the archaeological site. They try to protect it from the human activity. Like they make a fencing for this site, and we have a lot of scientific research from outside and from the inside.
To highlight the cultural and historical significance of antiquities, the Sultanate of Oman, represented by the Ministry of Heritage and Tourism, exerts strenuous efforts to preserve such archaeological sites and enact laws and legislation to protect them from any form of violation.
Our department is concerned about preventing illegal trade from cultural heritage, which has a huge impact to protect our cultural heritage from any illegal activities.
The archaeological excavations that were carried out by a team of experts from the Ministry of Heritage and Tourism resulted in unearthing various types of antiquities, such as pottery vessels, glass bottles, a chloride stone vessel, iron arrowheads, and jewelry, including bracelets, earrings, rings, and beads. صالح بخلفان الرحبي, ولاية of سمائل الداخلية Governorate.
This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. On behalf of His Majesty the Sultan, His Highness Sayyid Fahd bin Mahmoud Al Saeed leads the Sultanate of Oman's delegation to the 44th summit of GCC leaders in Doha. The conclusion statement of the GCC summit expresses great appreciation for the achievements made to reach integration among GCC countries. GCC institutions of higher education quality and academic accreditation review the Muscat and GCC strategic plan for higher education quality. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the studios and the newsroom, it's good night and stay safe.